Hello, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Flags over arm right to your left. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, everyone, thanks for coming. I always like coming over here. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. And if you can't, just let us know. We got a few different mics here. First of all, I want to thank the Lions for allowing us to have the meeting here. It's always great to be here. And I always kid them they should open up the bar for their meeting. Might make it a little more interesting. But, and also thank them for having an election. We just had an election here a couple weeks ago and it went well. It's a great facility. So, roll call, please.
Sandy Kupel. Here. Chris O'Regan.
Here.
Christy Hillman.
Here.
Artie Bryson.
Here.
Cindy Valentine. Here. Joanne Shirkey. Here. Mark Bouchard.
Okay, he's absent excused. We have bills payable. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to receive the bills payable in the amount of $135,264.53.
Support.
Okay, a motion and support. Any questions or anything? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Christy Hillman.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine. Yes. Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Sandy Kupel.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next, we have a public hearing scheduled for our soil removal permits. And what we do, we go into a public hearing, and anyone that has any comments for the soil erosion permits can get up and it's their opportunity to voice concerns about our soil removal permits. So we're going to have to entertain or have a motion to open up for public hearing
A motion to open the public hearing for the soil permits.
at 7:03.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion to support, open up soil removal permit at 7:03. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. I now open up the public hearing for soil removal permits. Does anyone have any questions or any comments or anything? There's actually 4 of them. They've been the same 4 for how many years? Quite a while. We have Bob Bryson. I'd question that one. Blue Water Materials, Silent Acres Farm, and Westwood Lake. So, any public comments? Going twice, going 3 times. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing at 7:04.
A motion to close the public hearing for the soil removal permits at 7:04.
Support, anyone?
Support?
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. The public hearing is now closed. Now we have public hearings for everybody else.
Public comments?
Or public comments, yeah. What did I say, hearing? Yeah. Okay. Can you guys hear okay? So we have public comments. Now that if you want to come up and microphones there and yep.
How's it dirty?
Dirty.
He knows.
Okay, where do I go?
Right, the mic there.
There's a mic right here. Oh, right there. Whew, too bad. All right.
You can, yeah.
Okay, my name's Kathy Harrison. I live at 301 Monroe Boulevard. First of all, I'd like to read this ordinance as pertaining to the hedges at the Boys Club, and then I'll make my public comment. This section 3.08 is amended through March 23rd, 2016. Fences on all lots of record in all residential districts which enclose property and are within a side or rear yard shall not exceed 6 feet in height. No fence, wall, or hedge shall rise over 4 feet in height in front of the house or in the required minimum front yard, whatever is greater. In addition, no fence, hedge, or wall shall be located within a public right-of-way, occupy a clear vision zone established by section 3.04, or interfere with visibility of a driveway. The zoning administrator is hereby empowered to cause all such obstructions to be removed in the interest of public safety. My questions are about the Boys Club. My house and property looks onto the Boys Club. Out of my kitchen window, all I can see is the tennis courts, the cabins, and the grass keeps growing and growing. As you pass the club on the North Channel, it's truly becoming a blight condition. The house JD lived in is looking run down. One of the little buildings I noticed facing the street by the pool, somebody broke one of the doors. The worst eyesore is the hedges facing the North Channel. Right there you have a blight ordinance that I don't think is being enforced. Those hedges look like a wall. They're 10 feet or more high, they're touching the wires. I myself called the County Road Commission, and they did come and do their part and trim them, but it looks pretty sloppy. Now I think the city needs to come and do their part and trim them to 4 foot. The Boys Club will only get worse and worse. So already I want to know the status of the club, and do they intend to cut the grass this year and trim the hedges?
I don't know what the status is of the club, but I instructed our zoning official to send them a letter today and everybody else who hasn't cut their grass yet under our grass ordinance, and I will address the hedges with them also. I was in contact with the County Road Commission. Actually, I wanted to take them right out,
I don't know that
but
was
they didn't do that, so. Okay?
But you'll
Thank you.
Like, do an email or something to let me know I will cut the grass this summer?
What's that? Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. If not, we'll cut it and send them a bill, and believe me, we don't want to be in the grass cutting business. So,
Especially that
Thanks a
one.
lot.
all right, thank you. Any other public comments? Oh, you got one coming, Wayne.
Oh, excuse me.
You want to know? Okay, I'm there.
First of all, I just really would like to thank our fire department. Did kind of know some of the guys working out front, working out front, and what happened at, with Slate's fire. They did a terrific job, and I think they should be commended. The reason I'm up here is they're great. They're doing their job, and they're not getting paid for it. I think our township should be absolutely ashamed that they're only paying minimum wage to $10 an hour. That is absolutely, I'm livid when you hear that. My grandson's working at a grocery store as a stock boy, and he's making as much money. I mean, come on. You've got to do something about this and see to it that these guys get paid what they're worth. Many of them are EMTs, they're trained beyond just the standard firemen, and they're not getting paid for their talents. That's the other issue, the difference between the ACLS and the BCLS. I'm really upset that you approved going back to BCLS. We've got firemen and women who are trained and capable for license to give more care than BCLS, to be able to, if a person has a heart attack, they need lidocaine. Guys that are BCLS trained cannot do that. They can give Narcan, they can give EpiPens, they can do this. They can't give them lidocaine. They can't start a line. They can't talk to the doctor. And this total nonsense about switching patients in the middle of M29 is ridiculous. And I know that's a whole nother issue, and we're not going to go into all that. But that's ridiculous. The guy's sick. He's dying. He's having a heart attack. And you have to change from one ambulance to another? okay? That's bad. Don't like it. That's just my opinion, and I think it's probably the opinion of everyone else around here. And I do want to thank them for helping with the planning in front of the fire hall. Somebody put the dirt in, we didn't even know, and they did it for us. They're going to water, they're going to do all this other stuff. So I thank them from now in advance for doing all that. And I think I'm done, except to make the comment about the ACLS. And I know it costs our township more because you have to pay for it, but how much is one life worth? And the lives you save may be your own. Remember that. All right, I'm done.
Thanks a lot, Ruth. And to expound on that, I don't think there's anybody on this board that doesn't agree they need to be paid more. And I've been telling them right from the get-go, we're doing it within the budget process, and we're looking at doing it right now.
All right.
So that will be addressed going forward. And I'm speaking for the rest of the board, but there's nobody on this board that doesn't agree with you on that. As far as the ALS, BLS, the issue with that, especially on the island, if they are ALS, they have to be a medic. But you said you're firefighters. They're ALS, they're not firefighters, they're medics. And they cannot respond to a fire. 4 weeks ago, we had a fire down at the old club. Condos were on fire underneath. I don't know if you realize that. See, you guys don't hear about the successes. Alarm went off, we responded, and we put out the fire, saved the condos. It would have been an ugly fire. If we were ALS, our guys would have to just sit there and watch and couldn't engage with the fire. We would have had to wait for the fire department from the mainland to come over. And we could have lost it. That's how the state operates, and I thought we explained it. If you're ALS, you cannot engage in a fire. They got to stand out and watch it. BLS, they can engage in a fire, and to save the condos.
But that should only be one person. ACLS. Your firefighter who's ACLS. You should only have one.
You got to have two.
Well,
And we can't afford to have 4 people over here.
no. I mean, if you had just one at a time here.
Got to have 2.
You gotta have two? I don't know, that's a lot.
So,
24/7.
okay?
That's still-
Steps.
That's for sure.
Not yet.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Wayne, how you doing?
Good.
Good to see you.
I've got a couple of questions.
Okay.
We've got a couple of guys hauling dirt out of places that they're not supposed to be hauling.
Okay.
Has John McLean got a permit to haul?
I don't believe so.
No, I know you don't.
Okay.
Okay, he's hauling out of his place by his house, and he's moving that dirt that he's not supposed to move until it's, how many days is it supposed to sit, John?
I don't know, I'm waiting. That's why I'm here tonight.
Oh, okay. But, and he's hauling dirt out of on Columbine. That must be about 23, 30 or something of that nature. That's where he's got all the cranes in them sitting out in the field there. He's hauling dirt out of there.
The apple orchard, where the apple orchard is.
Oh, okay.
And that's all I want to know right now.
Okay, we'll check into it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. Is that all you have?
Well, I could come in.
Didn't the DNR, didn't the EPA and the DNR mandate that the dirt that was dumped out of Crispin, which is where this is coming from, I think,
Yeah,
that it couldn't be disturbed?
right, for about 5 years, but I don't think that's the dirt we're talking about.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Yeah,
Well,
I think it is.
Well, it'll be interesting because they're coming next week to check it out. The EPA is, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
So and how that, the crisp and drain, we're about to go, they're going to be here doing some work. I'll talk a little bit about more later. And then there's going to be 3 3 years of maintenance, that where they come back and inspect and do some maintenance and actually ecological studies too, to make sure everything, worked as far as all the tadpoles and dragonflies and everything are happy like they want them to be. So turtles too. Any other public comments?
Good evening. Ron Shanebach, 4416 Middle Channel. I came before the board last August in this hall. Unfortunately, I came before the board in April of this year, missed the public comments, but still made my comments known. And I'm here for the same reason. We have regulations on boat wakes in and around Harsens Island. We're not asking that the regulations be changed, merely posted. Merely posted in order to protect the safety and the property from damage on the canals and on the channels. So I'm asking the board now for a formal response. We're either going to do something or we're not going to do something. If the answer is yes, we're going to do something, when? And if it's no, some reasoning as to why it's no.
I'm going to address that in my supervisor's report. I think you'll be hopefully happy.
I will listen intently. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Donna Halakoglu, 898 North Channel Drive.
Could you please speak up? We can't hear.
Oh, sorry, 898 North Channel Drive, Donna Halakoglu. I too have addressed the board on this particular subject. And I'm here as a citizen, not representing an association of any sort. I've been recently asked where can one launch a kayak to use the Crispin Drain, and what has the township done to provide such an area for the community to use the drain. That's wonderful, and I see that you are going to draw quite a crowd for that, and I really hope it does happen, but more people are going to want to come back. Where are these people going to launch their kayaks, and what has the township done for that? If you build it, then you will come. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'll address that too in my supervisor's report. Thanks, Donna. Any other public comments?
Hi, Harold Stever, 7111 Marks. I don't know if this is the appropriate spot in the agenda to address this, but I'm the treasurer of the Harsens Island St. Clair Flats Association, and you were at a meeting on Saturday, and I did address the fact that as an association, we need a resolution from the board to continue with our charitable gaming license. So I don't know if this is the appropriate time to bring that up or later on.
Yeah, we just give it to me, we'll put it on our agenda.
Okay, well, I emailed it to you already, so I can give you a hard copy too.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, give it to us.
I'll take care of it. Your contact? All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we had to also do that for one of the Lions clubs. So, any other public comments? No more public comments. Moving right along. I'd like to make a motion that we amend the agenda under 3. Thanks, Sandy. I want a 3A. I want to amend it to approve a new hire, a second new hire for the fire department. It's Carl, right?
Yes.
Carl Bailey, we have motion. Well, do you want to do this one tonight? Yeah, okay. So that'll be under 3A. Did I get support?
Support.
Okay.
Does he need this?
It's for the, I kind of do, I think.
Are you on a time crunch for this resolution?
I'd like to get it as soon as we could. If you could do it tonight, that'd be great.
We can do it at a budget workshop. We'll have it for you Thursday.
Perfect.
Okay, so there's a motion to amend the agenda, adding a 3A. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next, we have the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, including the board meeting minutes, May 1st, 2017, and synopsis, which I apologize were emailed out if you didn't get the update online. Check reports, April assessing, building and zoning, and water reports, May parks and rec updates, notice from Jay Szynski, resignation as assistant chief position for the fire department, communication from Tri-Hospital EMS review, council on aging, thank you, and there were no requests.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have support?
Support.
Okay, Joanne supports. Do we have any comments or anyone wants to pull anything out?
What's, John, correct?
Yeah, John. All right, hearing none. All in favor of the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, next. Supervisors report. It's been busy, a couple weeks. As I reported in our last meeting, we had a meeting with FEMA and about how they're going to change the way they're handling wind-blown water. And it was an interesting meeting, but going forward, we're just keeping an eye on it. There's not going to be any big changes for 2.5 years. Actually, they're pulling a lot of people out of the floodplain, which is a good thing. And it's really not, this wind-blown water isn't affecting too many people, but there again, I'm just going to reiterate, what Clay Township has to pay in premiums to FEMA a year, it's extortion. Say what it is. We pay $630,000 in flood premiums a year. And over the 40 years, it's well over $30 million that Clay Township alone has paid. And we pay more than the rest of the county puts together. And I met with some federal legislatures today on high water, and of course I had to bring this up too. And I gave them a few ideas and thoughts, and we'll see what will happen from that. But I have made a really good contact through Debbie Savinaw's office. She actually has a staff member who's a facilitator for FEMA, and I plan on talking to them tomorrow extensively. So, but other than that, I've been spending a lot of time doing the township budgets for this coming year. I know. And but then it's been probably the last couple of weeks, probably 70% of my time. But I want to talk about high water. We have high water. In fact, no, we have really high water. We had high water about a month ago, but that last big rain event, it jumped it up quite high. And right now, to date, according to the Corps of Engineers data, we are 6 inches from the all-time high. We are 22 inches above the average level, and it's probably going to go up some more. About last week, this is really troublesome, and as far as, addressing it, I thought, best way to do it for our township, protecting our property. And nothing is, and let me reiterate, we're going to try to do this our best. I'm proposing from the North Channel, from the head of Russell Island, the whole North Channel, Snybor, Middle Channel, and all the tributaries, no wake for anything 26 feet and over, the whole thing. We can't do that on the South Channel because of the Canadian side and the shipping channel. I have requested the old shipping channel, the same thing, but I probably won't get that. I've had talks with both the DNR and the Coast Guard about doing it. They both think it's a good idea. And they are actually talking together. I had a phone conference with them, those folks, today, this morning, the waterways regulation people from the DNR and the waterways people from the Coast Guard. And they're trying to figure out how to do it the best way. That's one part of the issue, but like the gentleman in the back will say, we need enforcement. We can put up signs, that's not going to do a lot of good. And a lot of it is education. I have requested additional funds for enforcement. Right now, all the enforcement we have for our Marine Patrol through the county, the state DNR gives the county a grant, 75%, and then the county has to match that at 25%. And it's a very small budget for what they have, and they usually run out of through their budget before the end of the summer, truthfully. I'm looking for more money for them. I talked to Thursday and Friday, I talked to both Phil Pavlov and Dan Lowers, our state reps. They are working on possibility of getting funds through the DNR. There's some emergency funds that may be available. Today I had a meeting, let me go through this. It was at noon up in Port Huron with Congressman Paul Mitchell, Senators Debbie Stabenow, and Senator Peters. They're leading staff people from here. Tim Donlin, the sheriff, was there with a few other staff people. Jeff Bohm, the head of the chairman of the county commissioners, and a few of the other county commissioners were also there. And basically, I told them all that we need, we have a problem here. We are getting damage. I know somebody that a cruiser wave went by their house this weekend. A wave hit the back wall and blew the wall out of the boathouse. That's just the beginning. And I think I convinced them that they need to find some money. We did have a conference call with Senator Stabenow and Paul Mitchell also during this. And we are going to attempt to get some additional funds also from Homeland Security and or FEMA. Like I say, we're going to give it the old college try. I did request more funds from our sheriff and or the county commissioners. I was turned down. I reminded them that Clay Township pays $2.4 million a year to the county in taxes. They get more than the township gets. And they have a nice jail for our bad guys, and they do plow our roads in the winter, but they are county roads. But I think that they should be able to afford a little more money towards our Marine Patrol also. That's what I'm hoping to do. And I'm going to try, and this board's going to try like heck to make it happen. So we do have a lot of questions and about putting signage. I want to make sure what the language is. I hope we can just say anything over 26 foot is no wake from this point on. And I want to have additional funding for at least 2 patrol boats in the water every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the summer months. It takes at least 2 to patrol the waters down here. Right now we share 1 boat from city of St. Clair all the way down. That's just not enough. And the current budget that they have doesn't even cover that for the whole summer. So, that's where we're at the high water. It's in the works. I hope and pray that we're successful, but we're gonna have to wait, and hopefully in a couple weeks I'll have a lot more answers. Does that sound like a pretty good resolution, if we can make that happen? I've talked to some of the marinas owners. They're okay with it. They said, well, you might get some pushback from the folks up in Port Huron or from St. Clair Shores, you know, about restricting the boats. They can still run the Canadian side in the South Channel, full speed. To me, it's an inconvenience, or they can go slow up the North Channel. I don't care. To me, it's an inconvenience at best for them, but they won't be destroying our property.
This has been done in Clay Township.
Well, not to the quite extent that we're doing it, but yes, in 1986, 85, 86, they put restrictions on. But I want the whole thing no wake. For anything over 26 and over. Smaller boats, we don't have a problem with those. It's those big cruisers.
And the freighters.
Well, and the freighters, but the problem is with the freighters, we don't have jurisdiction over them. It's Sarnia Coast Guard. I did have some talks about that, and they create these waves, these swells, over by John Ike's, where my house is, and I was thinking about that in a couple other spots. You can see it bubbling out there and forming, and I had a little talk with Chuck about it, and I agree with them that you'd think a hydraulic engineer could come up with an idea with either some rock avians or something in certain spots to prevent that from even happening with the swell of the water goes by. And I think that's pretty logical, and I brought that up today about the possibilities to have the Army Corps of Engineers look at that. And because they're not even going, they're going below the speed limit and it's still happening. And it's a lot to do with the shape of the ground, of the shore, and how fast it gets shallow. It's like a tidal or a tsunami, a tidal wave out in the middle of the ocean. It's just a ripple. But when it gets shallower, it's a tidal wave. Same concept. And we're going to be looking at that, and I brought that up to these guys also to maybe possibly have that done. Will it happen this year? No. Hopefully next year. Maybe they can put some rock avians in there, and I think it would probably be a pretty good fishing spot too, with all those rocks down there. But so, going forward, we do have a vacancy on the Elginak Clay Library Board still. June 6th, the St. Clair County Road Commission is having a meeting at our hall in Clay Township at 7 o'clock, and also at that time we're going to have a public hearing on the name change of Ainsworth Road to Muskrat Run. That's the little road between M29 and the high school where the fire department and water department's on. Okay, cleanup weekend on the island is Saturday, June 3rd and Sunday, June 4th. And save all your stuff, bring it to us. And everybody knows the drill over here pretty good, I think. And it's a popular thing. On the mainland is just Saturday only, June 3rd. The hours are, I lost that, 8 to 4. We did have a Phragmites Workshop this past Saturday at the Township Hall. Had about 25 people there. And what we did too, we actually filmed it, so we're going to be able to put it on YouTube and also link it to our website. And then what we wanted to do, because a lot of people say, oh, I missed it, or this or that, and they could see that, we're going to come up with a little 10-question test where they got to watch the program to pass the test. And then they could go through it, take the test, send it to us, and then they could, at that point, they could get back into the Phragmites program, so they actually don't have to physically be at the meeting, because it's not always convenient for everybody. All right, Phragmites, that. We have turtle crossing signs coming to the island this week. Both Middle Channel and Bates Highway and down there. We got about 4 or 5 signs coming. And also had a meeting today with the Blue Waterways and the Crispin Drain. Here's one of the signs. We have several signs made for direction on the Crispin Drain. And pretty nice signs, actually. And they're going to be going up soon. June 10th, we're having a red ribbon cutting on the Crispin Drain. We're expecting about, getting ahead of myself, about 80 kayakers at least coming to that. Now, I do have information on the event and on the drain over on the table. We have, here, I have it somewhere. We are taking a pre-registration. It's $20 to get a t-shirt. 75% of the money we bring in is going to go to our DNR to support the DNR on the island. So it's a good cause. And yeah, here it is. June 10th at 11 o'clock at the Schoolhouse Grill. We're going to do a red ribbon cutting. Then they're going to continue to kayak all the way out the Middle Channel. They're going to play out in the Middle Channel and then kayak back. They're calling it a play day in the bay. So that's exciting. Upcoming events. We have Sunny on the Island, our consumer education series. This is put up by the Attorney State General. The first one, and they're going to be held at Reader's Cove. The first one is Tuesday, May 16th, and it's about phone, mail, and e-scams. That's tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And then every month we have them scheduled. There's a total of 6 of them, and they're lots of information on them, and it's a very good program. Let's see, that on May 25th, they're at the Elginak High School. They're doing this Sunday, a color run to benefit Elginak High School. Jason Molman. It starts at 9 a.m. and it's $30 per person to run. I think it's how far is that? I think it's a 5K run. And they have a lot of fun. Everyone gets dusted with color. June 3rd. It is Sunday, May 21st. Yep, 9 o'clock at the high school. This is the third one that they've done, and they've raised a lot of money for charity. It's a lot of fun. The kids have a good time. June 3rd, Elginak Rotary is sponsoring a horseshoe tournament at the Township Park. It starts at noon. Registration starts at 11 o'clock. It is $10 per person to enter. And let's see, I'm going to lose my space if I quit jumping around here. We are looking at dates for, actually we're at the Schoolhouse Grill for some cooking classes, for nutrition and cooking programs that's put on through the Michigan State Extension, where a chef comes in and actually does cooking classes. And we're trying to get some dates locked up right now with Kristen. And we did finish the program for Cooking with Teens program. It was very successful. I think 7 or 8 kids in high school went through it. You know, they don't teach home ec anymore. And it was very successful with that. Painting with Maureen. We got a lot of stuff going on. It's painting classes. It's going to start June 5th. And where is that one? It is $45 per person. It's 4 weeks of instruction, and that's also at the Elginak High School. You must pre-register, and we limit the class size to 10, and that usually fills up. So if you want some painting lessons for $45, you can't beat it. Okay, we're organizing a Tiger bus trip. Confirmed, it's 1:10 p.m. Sunday, August 13th. Game is the Tigers versus the Twins. It departs at Elginak High School at 11 a.m. sharp. Tickets are $49 a piece. And that includes the tickets, the bus ride down and back.
Beer.
Beer, you gotta bring your own beer. Cost some people 40 ounce, it's gonna cost Wayne a lot more. All right, Sayola, Spanish classes. We're sponsoring classes to teach kids to speak Spanish from 3 to 5 years old. It's 10 o'clock each Tuesday morning in August. And the cost is $35 per child, and that goes, I think it's 5 weeks. And it's a very popular class. If you got a little one, if you want to start speaking Spanish, take them there. We did the playing of ball. Okay, mold dog. Okay, we have a dog. Mold dog behaviors and positive reinforcement. June 23rd, 7 o'clock at the Township Hall. A highly acclaimed and experienced dog obedience programs, leader dogs that they do is going to be there, and I don't see a cost on it. This one might even be free.
It's just people only, no dogs.
Is it really?
No dogs.
We have a dog trainer teaching people. I'm not going to say.
That's the last advertisement for this one.
Okay. Okay, and we are working on getting some pickleball nets going. We got 2 nets so far. My goal is, we're working with the Elginak Community Schools over at the high school of getting, I think we're ultimately going to end up with 6 pickleball courts over there. And I'm actually looking at doing 1 in the basketball court at the Township Park also. And any questions or anything, you can call our office and ask for Cindy Babish.
Yes, classes for dog owners only, no dogs attended.
No dogs at 10.
I don't see a person.
I don't think it is. Okay. So anyhow, we got a lot of programs coming up, and so if you're interested, let us know.
Where's the kayak launches going to be?
Oh, glad you brought it up. They're on the map. I have probably about 50 maps over there of the Crispin Drain. And we have 5 of them on Harsens Island, and they're marked on the map with a star. What's that? Well, eventually a couple of them are going to be, once we get the state and everything to get a handicap launch. But we have 2 on the middle channel, and actually 3 along the south channel at the DNR access sites. And you can access it from the DNR site across the river and scoot straight across the river too. So we do have 5 actually right now on the island. So grab one of those maps. It's kind of exciting. We have about 11 miles of kayak trails through this Crispin Drain because we have offshoots in the DNR that we can take, and there's a couple loops we can do out in Muscatine Bay and back. So it's pretty cool. All right, I think that's it.
Ari, just FYI, is there any chance that we can get lots of copies over here on the island?
Sure, we can put them in the library and the post office. And they are on our Parks and Rec Facebook page, Clay Township Parks and Rec.
Handy information.
Right, yep.
Because there is a lot of good things going on.
We can do that. All right, that concludes our supervisor's report. Thank you. All right, unfinished business, we have none. Under new business, please adopt the Michigan Marine Safety Ordinance. Mike, you want to talk on this, or you want me to do it? It's up to you.
No, it's fine. What it is, in talking with our local attorneys in there for the police department, and talking about some of our issues with the waterways and such, you know, we do get out there on our boat, and we try to do as much as we can out there. However, what I've found talking with our attorneys is some of the things that were out there and we might come across, just kind of cover ourselves across the board. We're going to adopt this ordinance, which includes your weight violations, any of your other violations that might fall under local ordinance. These are all encompassed underneath this Marine Safety Act. Pretty much it broadens us across the board and gives us, you know, the option if we do want to take any other enforcement action out there, we're going to be able to do that. We pretty much can under state law, but this pretty much encompasses everything across the board for us.
All right, thank you. And this will actually enable us to do some patrolling out there and also be able to write tickets. I kind of want to downplay it a little bit because we want the county to do their job too. In other words, if you have your own police force, the sheriff doesn't come and patrol your streets anymore. So, but if our guys are out there, they need the juice behind them to do their job, and that's what this ordinance is going to do. Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the Michigan Marine Safety Ordinance for Clay Township. Ordinance number to be determined next in the book.
Support.
All right, we have our motion and support to adopt the Marine Safety Ordinance, St. Clair County.
Yeah, we could list all the MCLs, but we'd be here for a minute.
Yeah, it's
Will be available at the township, but it's pretty thick.
yeah. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Christina Hilden.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Sandy Kufel. Yes. Crystal Regan.
Yes. Motion passes. Okay, next we have on the agenda a speed radar trailer. How many people seen it over by the schoolhouse grill? How many people were you told to slow down? We have a camera that will take your picture. So anyhow, the DDA, actually we met two.
We have to blow it up tonight?
Right. The DDA approved to pay for half of this, and what's before you, the board is that the police department would pay for the other half of this. For obvious reasons, you know, it reminds people that they might be going a little too fast. And also, there's a bill in front of the state of Michigan that allows townships to have input in changing speed limits on certain roads. To do that, you have to have stats. And this will give us the stats. It will tell you exactly how many cars go by, the slowest, the fastest, the average speed, how many are 5 over, 10 over, and how many need to get a ticket in the mail. How many cars total went by. It gives you quite a bit of information. So for us, if we want to do that, we won't have to hire someone to do a speed analysis, and also I think it will be a good reminder for some of our residents that they got to take the lead out of their foot.
It ain't the residents. Goddamn full clubs, they're the ones that
Okay.
here about 80, 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, probably. So, anyone want to make a motion?
I'll do that. I'll make a motion that we purchase the speed radar trailer for $11,459. The DDA will pay half, and the police will pay the other half, which will come out of budget line item 207-000-933.10, capital outlay over $5,000.
And it's going to come out of the 17-18 budget.
Yes, it'll be included in the 17-18 budget of a total of $63,800.
Okay, we have motion. Any support?
Support.
Okay, any discussion or questions? We've actually got this unit as a loaner, and I believe the chief is happy with it. Okay, any discussion? No discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have on the agenda to hire actually two people for the fire department, Michael Hogue, and then we have Carl Bailey, or Bailey. Chief, want to come up and...
I interviewed Mr. Hogue last week, and he has quite a few certifications. He's Fire 2. He's a retired firefighter from Madison Heights. He is a paramedic, state certified. He has a lot of hazmat certifications. He's been a resident of the area for 25 years, so he's local. He knows the area. So he would be an asset to our department, to our staff. And Mr. Bailey is on our department. He is a paid on call. He was a safer before. We want to bring him back. He does have a lot to offer too. He is Fire 1, Fire 2. He does have a paramedic's license, which is up to date. He is a certified paramedic. In fact, he works in the city of Detroit. He too is local area, and he will be an asset to our department.
Any questions for George? Hearing none, entertain a motion?
We do these together?
Yeah, let's do them together.
I'll make a motion to approve new hires Michael Hogue and reinstate full-time Carl Bailey for the Clay Township Fire Department.
Support?
Okay, a motion and support. Any discussion? What I like about this, they're both local guys, and that's what we got to get back to focus on. Hearing no more discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Good job, Chief. All right, next we have replacement of the master meter, Sassy Marina Complex. Yeah, John did sneak in. Stand up, John. Say hi to everybody.
Master meter at Sassy is stopped. It's a 4-inch meter. It serves the whole Sassy Marina Complex, and parts are no longer available for that meter. So I'd like to replace with a new compound meter. They're a big customer in the summertime, so I'd like to get that in place before our business season gets on. Neptune is the only dealer in Michigan. I'm sorry, Michigan. Ferguson is the only Neptune dealer in Michigan. So that is goes along with our remote read system we currently have. So that's what we want with that company.
This is the water meter you're talking about, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, they're, like John said, they're one of our biggest customers, 4-inch meter, and it's important that we have accurate meters on our big customers. So, entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the 4-inch master meter. I believe it's for a total of $5,233.20. Is that correct, John?
Yes.
Out of line item 591-746 from the Ferguson Waterworks.
Support.
Okay, a motion and support. Any discussion? I assume we're going to install that ourselves. That's not a no. They come up? Oh, yeah.
It's a big job.
Yeah, I see that. Okay.
Any idea the lead time on it, John?
Could have it in by the end of the week.
Really? Fantastic.
Pending your approval.
Pending your approval. They're waiting at the border right now.
She's waiting on my call in the morning.
Yep. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next, we do have a vacancy on the Downtown Development Authority Board, and this supervisor's job to recommend somebody, and then this board job to approve. And how it works for the DDA, the board members, they have to be within the district, either living there as a resident or have a business. And I'm actually wanting to appoint Bob Finn. He's the owner and he lives there. He's the owner of Johnny Legas, which is in the district. He's very community minded. He does a lot for our community, and I think he would be a very good member of our Downtown Development Authority.
I'll make a motion to approve the DDA appointment of Bob Finn to the DDA.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion and support to appoint Bob Finn to the Downtown Development Authority. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, very good, Bob will be excited. Okay, next I have a work order before you from the St. Clair County Road Commission to repair Aqua Isles Cross Culvert. Let's see, it's a pretty good sized culvert, and we have to rebuild the manholes also that this culvert attaches to. And I want to actually get it done because we're scheduled to repave this road, probably be in August sometime. So that's why it's before you.
Can't remember the line item by chance.
This is our road
The road
fund.
the normal road.
Yeah, it's going to be on the next year's budget. Yeah.
Kristen over county or township?
Somebody forgot the lines.
I'll make a motion that we approve the St. Clair County Road Commission work order of $7,000 and $7,050 to replace the crossroad culvert on Aqua Isles. We have a motion and support. Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying. What?
Hang on 1 second.
Yeah.
Who from our township assesses this? Do we assess it, or is
The
it the
road
county assess it?
both.
Both?
The county will assess it, bring it to my attention, and then I bring it to your guys' attention.
This is also from your drive around.
Yeah, the drive around, we saw that, the drive around, you guys saw that. I mean, when a culvert's failing, especially this bad, there's holes that they got, you know, it collapses and it creates holes in the road, and both manholes are collapsing and sunken in. And this is like a 900-foot culvert, goes all the way to the water, you know, across someone's, 981 feet, it goes across someone's yard through their seawall and into the water. And it'll make those people happy. And, you know, it's a lot cheaper to do it. I bet you this will come in about $4,000 because, maybe $5,000 because in this price, you know, they put in to re-asphalt it, but they're going to do it right before we pave it anyhow. It's about half the cost to do it before they repave it. So it makes sense to, when you're going to do a road, to make sure all the culverts are in good shape. All right, we have motion and support. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying, no, it's a work request, a contract. We got to do roll call.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Joanne Shirkey?
Yes.
Sandy Kupel?
Yes.
Crystal Regan?
Yes.
Christy Hilton?
Yes.
Artie Bryson?
Yes. Motion carries. And next we have discussion of Silent Acres and Crispin Drain update. You know, John is worried about where the spoils are on his property. I've actually talked to him quite a bit, but I got it in writing via email. I sent this to them. They are going to be out next week with surveyors. And what they're looking at doing is flattening the pile out, moving the berm, and putting in drainage to the county road ditch. But you know how it is with federal government. They have to have a survey crew out there. They have to come with a scope of the job, and then they get their estimates from the contractors, and then they have to secure funding, and then they let them loose. They just can't say, hey, Wayne, go out there and fix it, and we'll charge us time and material. They can't do it that way. So unfortunately, it takes a little longer. So they're going to be out here this next week surveying it, and boots are going to hit the ground. Let's see, the redesign will, after the surveyor, they said the redesign will take about 3 weeks, and they'll probably, shovels will probably hit the ground in mid-June. And then at that point, they will regrade and seed. So she even says there's a lot of hoops to jump through between now and then. So that's the story on that. And I think I mentioned earlier, they are going to be finishing up the planting phase of the project. And then once that's done in this, it will go to the maintenance phase of the project, which lasts 3 years.
Are you all done?
Yeah.
Good. Can I say something?
Okay.
Artie, I came the 3rd of April, and you said in a week we'd have an answer.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't call me for 18 days. That's Rose Ellison.
Mm-hmm.
Then just before your last meeting, 4 days before, she called me back and telling me I live in a wetland. Now look, I know my farm is only 579 in most places, but it is not a wetland. And if you got one of these smartphones, look it up.
Okay.
My big bitch is, nobody is there telling me what they're gonna do. They just think they can walk on my farm and do any damn thing they want. And I'm telling you, they can't.
Okay, well.
Now, if she wants to do something, and I told her to bring 2 engineers, and somebody with some brains, and just give me a plan. Put a drain here, put a drain here, move it here. I said to her, why did you put the berm 20 feet from the fence?
Okay,
no answer.
They're going to be out next week, John.
Oh, this is great. I've been doing this for 2 years, Artie.
Okay,
you keep telling me patience, patience.
I got it in writing.
I'm out of them.
I got it in writing. Okay?
Oh, but here, is it your farm or mine?
No, it's your farm.
Okay, then, I want to know what the hell is going on.
I forwarded you the email. It's in
Okay,
writing.
you just said the surveyors were coming. I didn't bring it, but that's all it says.
No, and then they're going to do the redesign, and then the shovels will hit the ground in mid-June. And I'm sure you'll be a part of the redesign.
Well, if I'm not,
So.
Mike, you're going to need to come over.
Okay, thank you.
Here, Artie, I just want to know what's going on.
Right, I know. And like I say, there's a lot of hoops, and yes, it takes longer than you and I think it should.
And just so you know, I've already had a guy from Michigan State University over, and he said that red oaks and hickories do not grow in a wetland.
Okay.
So if they want to go to war, let's go to war.
Well,
I just want to know when to
you're
start.
going to go to war with them, not us.
Well,
So,
whatever.
okay, thanks.
You get in the road, don't get run over.
All right, next we have a discussion on 5299 Point Trumbull Road and Ainsworth intersection. I really don't even know why this is before the board. It's really not board action. There's a guy at right across the street from Ainsworth. He's got issues with the MDOT road, and I've actually facilitated, I know John DeBoyer was with us, facilitated meetings with the county road and MDOT to fix this problem. Kind of had the deal ready to go, and I think this person, he got a little too antsy. It was taking a little longer than he thought, and the deal kind of got squashed. I've been in contact with Dan Lowers, and he's going to get a hold of MDOT and get it taken care of. I forwarded him pictures of the situation, and it's a MDOT issue. It's not a township issue, but I think we've done more than we can even attempt to do any more, and to help this person out. So do you have anything more on that, or you've been talking to him?
No, but it did come back up on our agenda because he had sent communication to our board regarding this matter, and I told him that I would look into it.
Okay.
So I did, and I did the same thing. I talked to John. I talked to the actual St. Clair County Road Commission, and both of them had advised me of the same thing. It is not a township issue. It is something that needs to be dealt with through the Michigan Department of Transportation. And according to both the St. Clair County Road Commission and John DeBoyer, there was a meeting facilitated, and it was turned over to him to deal with because it's no longer our issue. So I told him that I would do some investigation for him, find out where it's at, and best I can tell, it was turned over to him, and we've done all we can do around it.
Well, like I say, I did contact the state reps, and they're on his behalf, and they are going to look into it, and maybe they can provide some relief. So. All right, next we have a review for approval, soil erosion permits. We have 4 of them. I think we could probably do all with one motion, if the board so chooses.
You want them all at once?
Sure.
I'll make a motion to approve the soil removal permits for Robert Bryson. You want addresses and stuff?
No. I don't think we do.
Blue Water Materials, Silent Acres, and Westwood Lake.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. These are yearly permits that come up for them to maintain the soil removal permit.
Let me just add that they've all naturally been passed by Sue Brown and have in all the necessary things that they need.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, that gets us through our new business. Do we have any board member comments? Joanne?
I just want to say that there's so many things, nice, good things going on in this township, and it's important that we recognize all the hard work that people involved in these projects are doing, and we'll keep giving you information so that you can attend things, and there's something for everybody. And then particularly I would like to mention the Michigan Consumers Education on the island. I attended a couple of those, 2 or 3 of them when we were on the mainland. Extremely good. The gal that explains them and talks about it, Betsy, and she, you'll hear the latest up-to-date information, and those scammers and phony, calls and everything, they change every day, so she stays up to date. So if any of you are interested, go to the library tomorrow night and start, attending those. It's very important. And she only talks for 45 minutes or so. She doesn't stay there. She answers questions that you might have concerning different things, so it's well worth it. And I hope that you'll take advantage of that.
Well, I'd like to welcome Mike Hoag and Carl Bailey back to full-time. We teamed out at the fire department and looking forward to working with them both.
Sandy?
I don't really have anything, but I did want to thank everyone for coming out. It was very nice, my first meeting being over here. So thanks for the warm welcome. That's all.
Artie, I just wanted to address Ruth real quick in the ALS and BLS conversation that we were on earlier today. And I wanted to state my position on why I voted for BLS. Staffing was and continues to be a real challenge for our fire department. And our chief is now taking over the scheduling. And staffing the requirements for ALS was almost an impossible challenge. In addition to that, we have some concessions from Tri-County that enable us to actually transport a patient from the island to the hospital, which, in my humble opinion, will save more lives than adding another medication to their trunk. So we all have opinions and we don't necessarily have to agree, but I wanted to state the facts that were before me, why I voted that way. I believe BLS is going to benefit the island more than harm the island. Now, if we don't agree with that, we've been made perfectly clear that we are able to change our mind. It's a cost factor, and it will cost us more money, but we are able to change our mind. So if enough citizens pull together and we have enough support, right, we can go back to an ALS next month. There's nothing that prevents us from doing that, other than it's probably $100,000 worth of medication, 50 for each station, as well as additional training that we'll need to bring the firefighters up to speed.
We probably do it because we can't transport even if we are ALS.
Correct.
We would do it through Tri-Hospital. And I did get a quote from Tri-Hospital to put an ambulance here 24/7. It was $338, pretty sure that's what it was, $338,000 a year. It would be 2.5 mils. It would cost 2.5 mils of taxes to pay for that. That's a lot of money.
Well, it's a lot of money, but it's their money, so
Right.
they should have the opportunity to vote on it, or at least discuss it. And that's it. That's all I had today.
Yep, thank you. No? Okay. I want to thank the Lions again for allowing us to come here, and I always love having our meetings over here. It's fun to see a lot of people out, and it's good for the board just to see that too. I think they were a little nervous coming in here beforehand. But you guys...
That's why they were so quiet.
Yeah, but you guys were easy on it, so... Yeah, and George, what's the deal on CPR classes? We can do them? I just had a question.
I can get with Mike. Mike Harry's usually stationed over here on the island, and he will give the classes to the residents when he's on shift, so we just need to give us a call and we'll set it up for you.
So yeah, anybody wants a CPR class, one person? I mean, it'd be better to have a few.
Right.
Get a hold of us and we can arrange CPR classes, and like we said before, people knowing CPR will save more lives than ALS, BLS, you know, or whatever we are. So.
What I wanted to mention before was that you were talking about how much we paid for insurance, FEMA insurance. Well, the question that you should be asking them is, how much has been returned to here?
Yeah, I know that. I'll address that.
It's very, very, very little.
Well, he asked about FEMA, what we pay in premiums, $630,000 a year, and what's been brought back in return in relief from FEMA. And gosh, yeah, okay, we'll do it.
Just the studs.
Like I say, we paid millions and millions of dollars, and they said that we received 1.1 million in relief. But if you remember right, that relief was not for flooding. It was for a tornado.
Yeah.
And they don't even they're not even in the tornado business anymore. And at this meeting, I brought that out, and they said, well, we're not sure what it was for, because I'm telling you what it was for. It was for a tornado. It was not for floods. And I had a discussion, my house, they say it's in the 100-year floodplain. It's never been wet. It was built in 1889. You do the math. It was quite interesting. I had this one lady from FEMA, I think she was their boss, she kind of got in my face a little bit. Well, because I told them, you know, it's extortion, it's a money grab. I don't want to pay it, but I do. I have to. And she goes, well, you have car insurance, don't you already? Goes, yeah, I do. Let's talk about that. And I have car insurance, but I can justify the premium I pay to the risk that I have. And in fact, I buy more than I have to because I cover my collision too. So I willingly do that, number one. Number two, I can shop my car insurance. Can't shop FEMA insurance. Flood insurance, can't do it. You know what constitutes a flood? A significant area has to be affected for more than 24 hours. Just not one or two houses. And if we get wet for 8 hours, and that's probably what would happen if, God forbid, something did happen, it would probably be gone in 8 hours. That's not a flooding event. So I told them that they are making us buy insurance on something that we'll never collect on. And I argued the price. I had an insurance guy there with me, and he backed me up. When I go shopping for insurance for the township, they'll look at our total loss for like 5 years and get an average. And they think it's pretty good if you have a 75% ratio from loss to premium. In other words, if we have an average of $75,000 of losses, we can expect to pay about $100,000 in premium. So that's a 75% ratio. With that the tornado scenario, even though you count that, our ratio, loss ratio to premium is maybe 1%. Maybe 1%. And any insurance company in the world would love to have that, you know, versus a 75% ratio. And so yeah, I kind of let them have it a little bit as far. I mean, I'm glad that they're reducing the size of the floodplain and they're pulling some people out, but I still have a problem with them. I suggested that we do a regional FEMA, like for the Great Lakes. We have lower risk, we should have lower premiums. Of course, that's not going to go anywhere. It was above everyone's pay grade, but they didn't like that. So I could see paying less insurance and keeping it all in the Great Lakes, but we all know where it all ends up. So.
Art.
Yes.
Can you talk to the county about changing that tube on Fishman Road?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. It's in the works. Right before on the other side.
Right.
Yep. Where all the muskrats are having fun.
Yep.
All right, that's all I have. Let's see. If you got anything else for the next meeting, let me know, or Cindy. And I'm waiting for one more motion.
Hey, Ari, is there public comments in here anywhere?
Yeah, in the beginning
Oh, you put it in the beginning. Oh, I'm sorry.
You got anything?
Yeah, now that we went through the meeting, there's...
Can I ask why we don't have public comments on the end anymore?
It's listed right there.
Well, no, it's
No,
not.
they don't have it anymore.
No. We put it in the beginning to be kind of, that's how every other place does it in the whole state. And there's a lot of times people come, they want to make their public comments, and they don't want to stay for the whole meeting. So they can come, do their comments, and leave. There's a lot of people that
I'd
like
like to
it.
have the opportunity to comment on what you guys talked about tonight.
Well, a lot of people like it that way.
I'd like to too. I'd like to hear
How
it.
about 2 public comment sections?
On TV, they cut it off.
They do?
Last.
All right, a couple quick things. okay?
Yeah.
That could be more argumentative.
Uh, John, listening to your problem over there with with the spoil, yeah, it's your problem, don't you remember? They told
Chuck,
you.
this is public comments, not debate.
Now listen, no, I'm not debating anything,
Okay.
I'm saying, here, I have a solution for you,
Okay.
okay? Since a precedent has already been set, I suggested the cheapest alternative for the state and us, okay, is to waive the 5 years on getting rid of the spoil. And let them go in there and get rid of the spoil in a way that will manage their flooding when they're done. You already got it started on the other side.
Can you
You're gonna
stop
have to-
common sense from getting
We can bring it up, but I think they want to monitor it for contamination.
I'm sure.
They sampled the whole damn thing.
I know, but I'm just telling you their reasoning.
All right, another thing. You didn't like that solution, I got a worse one. The Great Lakes Ship Owners Association, okay? The guys in Detroit who run all the ships, Canada, US, okay? They got money, okay? The ship owners and the ships on the river are a problem for us with localized flooding, right?
Yep.
And we bitch about it, and we call the Coast Guard and everybody else, and nobody's gonna do anything. First off, you gotta catch them in the act and all that, but never mind. Here's the deal. First off, the flooding that they're creating is worse than any flooding that we'll encounter under a FEMA program. The magnitude of the difference in wash, and don't kid yourself, you just lost a piece of boathouse because of this. I say that you guys, whoever you guys are that are affected, us, go to these ship owners association and say, look guys, you pony up some money and you go to the Corps of Engineers and we'll help you guys identify the key places that are at most risk, like you know one where you are. And you guys, between you, engineer it and fund it because it's your control, it's your contribution. And you're going to get political kudos out of it.
Maybe, we can try it. I'm not opposed to trying it.
Okay?
Yep, I'm going to work on no wig this week, though.
Have you ever thought about sending an official Clay Township letter to these shipping companies?
Yes, I've done it to Sarnia Coast Guard and...
No, that's not what I said.
Right, and to, well, I'm not done, and to several shipping companies, too.
Why not get the whole list of them and, send it out to each one of them and put all their names on it?
Right.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained, the squeaky wheel.
I actually did that 2 years ago, and it's all regulated by Sarnia Coast Guard, and, I copy our Coast Guard on it.
No, trust me, those owners, they regulate those freighters, period.
Right.
If they tell them to slow down in this
Okay.
area, they'll slow down.
All right, thanks. One more.
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
Yes. Okay, all in favor? Aye. All right, thanks for coming, everybody.